Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eye on Port. This program is proudly brought to you by Serene Insurance, GRA PLC, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Our proud media partner is the Business and Financial Times. This program is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. This evening, we are streaming live on Facebook at Port of Tema. Still on Facebook, we are streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. On YouTube, we are streaming live at Eye on Port. In the course of tonight's program, we'll be getting interactive, and the numbers you could send your WhatsApp messages to is 053 803 7353. The numbers again, 053 803 7353. Also, we'll be activating the phone lines where you could call in and then share your thoughts on tonight's discussion with us. In the meantime, we are going for some messages from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back from the break. It's now time for us to take a look at some stories happening within the port and maritime industry.
The world's largest floating book fair, Logos Hope, has made a return to the port of Tema, giving a new opportunity to the Ghanaian port community and the entire citizenry to experience this innovative and educative adventure. The 50-year-old ship houses 350 volunteer crewmen from different nationalities and boasts a selection of over 5,000 book titles across a wide range of categories, including science, arts, lifestyle, religious, children's book, self-help and motivational books, among others. The 132-meter-long, 21-meter-wide ship is currently docked at berth 15 at Terminal 1 of the Port of Tema, and until the 8th of September is open to the public between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day of the week, except Mondays. The President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, together with other state dignitaries and industry stakeholders, paid a visit to the ship during her opening ceremony last Thursday. The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Lugoje, expressed pleasure at the return of Logos Hope during his welcome address.
It is an honor for us to have Logos Hope visiting us once again. We cherish all the past moments of other visits that have come before. And I think when COVID came, we're all worried and saying, when shall we have Logos Hope visiting again? So we are happy that you are here today. You are going to be with us for the next couple of weeks. And of course, to the port of Takoradi as well.
The team from Logos Hope expressed their excitement at their return to Ghana and re-emphasized the essence of the Logos franchise, which seeks to provide hope through knowledge sharing.
One of the things that we do on the ship is we organize ourselves into what is called ship families. And so I am father to about 10 children on board the ship. And one of them, in fact, is from Ghana. Yes, in fact, he is with us here today. I met him 3 years ago when he joined the ship in Sierra Leone. And what touched me was his humble service to the Lord. And I thought to myself, if my ship's son is a representative of his nation, I look forward to seeing this nation.
We arrived at Tema yesterday evening with a desire to join efforts with your people, to share knowledge, to share help, and to share hope, to see communities transform and lives change.
I believe in partnership. Partnership is so important when we come into a country, working together one with another. And I'll tell you what, you at the Port of Tema do the best of anyone in the world. I cannot think of a better port. So thank you for inviting us again, and it's great to be back in the Port of Tema.
We are waiting for all of you guys to come and visit us. We are waiting and we're so excited to be back. I think this is the first time we're back to a country after 2 years of visiting. So we're really excited. We got a really good response last time and we're hoping for much more this time.
Welcome to the Logos Hope Hotel.
All right, so away from that, let's take a listen to some international port and maritime news.
Despite the market uplift from Red Sea disruption, Maersk's second quarter earnings lagged the same period last year as higher costs met lower revenue. Maersk pointed to multiple positive indicators for the global economy in its second quarter earnings report, including expectations of 2.6% global GDP growth in 2024 and 5 to 7% growth in container demand over the past year. After outperforming in the first half of 2024, Maersk expects demand to cool in the coming quarters with a 4 to 6% growth estimate for 2024. Limiting the commercial impact of that demand growth, an influx of a new build deliveries brought 10.4% world fleet growth in the year to the end of quarter two. While Red Sea diversions soak up much of that added capacity, the group's results show that the current market strength falls short of even the tail end of pandemic disruptions in the second quarter of 2023. Shanghai International Port Group SIPG has launched the first phase of Luoying Terminal with 5 berths, the first phase of what is described as one most advanced automated container terminals in China, adds a design capacity of 2.6 million TEU annual throughput to the world's largest container port. Construction started in December 2022, and the terminal at Luoying Port currently has 100,000 tons class container berth and 4 10,000 tons class container berths. The automated container terminal at Luoying has been built on the site of old coal and ore terminals, which ceased operation in 2017 and 2019 due to the high pollution they caused, providing low added value to the business.
All right, so it's now time for us to take the phrase of the day, and today's phrase of the day is shipping and liner conferences.
Shipping and liner conferences refer to agreements between several shipping lines carrying out regular liner services in a determined geographical sector.
All right, so welcome back. Tonight we are discussing tax obligations and tax reliefs. We are taking a look at some insights from the Ghana Revenue Authority. And tonight we have in the studio Mr. Eric Anthony. He's the Chief Revenue Officer at the Large Taxpayer Office at the Ghana Revenue Authority. Sir, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Pastor, you are doing well.
I'm doing very well, and thank you for having me. And good evening to your cherished listeners.
It's always a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you.
And you are no stranger to this particular program.
Yes, I am.
So tonight we are discussing taxes, and then one will find out. I mean, the month of August has been slated as a tax month, I believe, by the Ghana Revenue Authority, and it's for this reason that we are having tonight's discussion. And then I want to find out from you, why is it important for Ghanaians to pay taxes? But before you answer that, maybe you tell us why the Ghana Revenue Authority has decided to have a tax month. I mean, what is the need for that?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk about tax. I mean, on a very big platform such as yours.
Please get your microphone closer to you? I think it's better.
It's okay now, okay. Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity to talk to Ghanaians on matters such as this. First of all, GRA is the statutorily mandated institution responsible for the administration of taxes in Ghana. And we believe that as part of the tax administration in Ghana, we owe the public the duty to sensitize them on the do's and don'ts, or what is required of them, what their rights are, to the extent that it will enhance voluntary compliance.
Okay.
So the whole idea is to bring the tax machinery to the doorstep of the taxpayer, make it more convenient. First of all, let them understand what it's all about, and then secondly, make it more convenient for them to enhance their level of voluntary compliance. So that is the reason why we are out there, to engage our clients, who are the taxpayers.
And usually, how many months are we looking at? Is it August and September, or is it just August?
No, for now, yes. Actually, it's supposed to have been, I think, April. But then this is a special arrangement for us to get closer. I mean, things are changing, so.
So back to my first question.
Yes.
Why it is so important? Why is it important for Ghanaians to honor their tax obligations, and also how do these taxes contribute to national development?
Okay, thank you, Solo. It's been said that the price for maintaining a civilized society is tax. We can testify to the fact that when we put up governments in place,
okay,
and we give them the mandate to ensure development of the country, and we don't finance that mandate, we have essentially done nothing.
Okay.
Because government requires that resource, that money, to be able to implement programs. Now, let me go quite specifically. You realize that taxation is a means by which government raise the necessary resources for the provision of social amenities.
Okay.
You would agree with me that if individuals were to, construct their own hospitals, establish their own schools, construct their own roads, certainly there is going to be chaos. And there is certainly going to be what we call the battle of the unequals, because some would have the power to do that, others will not have. So to bring a commonality amongst the community as a whole, it then becomes the duty of the government to provide such social amenities. And where do we get the money from? One main source is the taxation.
Okay.
Secondly, government has a lot of other responsibilities. The government machinery is run by people, the employees of the state.
Yeah.
Government has to pay them and pay their pensions and all the employment benefits that come with that. That aside, the provision of public infrastructure. Let's look at security. The army, just to protect the borders of our country against any external aggression. And the police maintaining law and order so that I wouldn't find you on the street in your Mercedes-Benz, and because I'm stronger than you, I'll just pull you off the car and then take your car. There should be order, law and order, and it's maintained by the police. And it's part of government's responsibility to ensure that there is law and order. Okay. That notwithstanding, we also use tax to protect the health of the people. I mean, where hazardous products are being put on the market, and that becomes somebody's economic activity, so you can't stop it. So when taxes are raised on such products, it has the effect of stopping people from consuming, because then the prices become higher, so that the consumption of such products are reduced or controlled. We can also use it to protect infant and indigenous industries. We can use it to close the gap, the inequality gap between the rich and the poor. That is, if you talk about a progressive tax system where the rich pay more and the poor pay less, so that it closes the inequality gap, between the people. So we can go on and on and on and on. But the basic point to be made or to be taken home here is that taxes provide the resources for government to function and to execute the purpose for which we elect them into office.
Okay, we'll be delving more into that. But what are the primary obligations of a taxpayer in Ghana?
Well, I would say there are four.
Okay.
Four main obligations on the taxpayer. First of all, let me draw our attention to a provision in the 1992 Constitution, Article 41, that talks about the duties of the citizen. And you look at 41J, and 41J actually provides that every citizen is supposed to disclose their incomes honestly to the appropriate agencies.
Okay.
And to ensure that they commit to all their tax obligations. So these are specific provisions in the 1992 Constitution.
Okay.
Now, let us come back to what can be extracted from this article. First of all, each individual has to register with the Ghana Revenue Authority. When I say each individual, it means that anybody who qualifies to pay tax.
And who qualifies to pay tax?
Pay tax. And you know, when you look at the Income Tax Act, the 896, it does provide that income tax is payable for each year of assessment by anybody who has a chargeable income. These are technical terms I will explain later.
Okay.
But what it means is that anybody who has a chargeable income, or in the street sense, let me say, who has a taxable revenue or taxable income, that person should register with the GRA.
Okay.
So that the GRA will have a complete record on you and can then be engaging you in line with law. Okay. And there are a lot of benefits that come with that. In addition, you need to file returns.
Okay.
Returns
for businesses?
Yes, for and individuals as well.
Okay.
For corporate bodies and individuals as well.
Okay.
You need to file your return. And a return can be personal annual income tax return or that of the company. Now, it is a form designed by the Commissioner General to extract certain information from the taxpayer. Okay. So you need to file your return. Some are filed annually, some are quarterly filed, some are filed on monthly basis. We have the PAYE return, we have the withholding tax return, we have the VAT return, and then we have the annual income tax return. So you need to file this as a statutory obligation on your part as a taxpayer. I do it, and I'm sure you do it, and everybody has to do it. The third I can talk of is the payment of tax. You know, payment of tax has been structured in such a way that they are paid on certain statutorily provided dates. So, as a duty, you need to pay tax on due date. So, if it is said that you are supposed to pay your tax by the 15th of the ensuing month, so be it. If you're supposed to pay it by the last working day of the ensuing month, so be it. If you're supposed to be paid on or before a certain date, so be it. So, as a responsibility or as an obligation, we need to pay our taxes on due dates. And then the last one, which is I call the accurate and honest disclosure. You know, it is an offense to provide a misleading information to the GRA.
Okay.
And as I did mention, as I did refer to in the Constitution, we as taxpayers need to make very honest disclosures.
Okay.
By keeping appropriate records and make sure that the disclosures that we are giving to the Commissioner General are the exact, numbers that actually existed or have come up in terms of your business.
Okay. And are we getting that from the businesses? Are we getting that from the individuals who file their taxes? And how does the GRA determine if what you filed is right or not?
Well, I can say that yes, the taxpayers are actually filing their returns, but we still have some.
It is often said that nobody likes taxes.
That is quite true. That is quite true. But if anybody who does, for me, anyone who doesn't like tax, doesn't like hospital, doesn't like police station, doesn't like good roads, doesn't like good water, doesn't like other things that are provided by the state. And you see, one important thing is that for us to be able to hold governments accountable, we need to give them money. If I have assigned you on a task and then I don't finance that activity, how can I come back to you and ask for accountability? So it is important that we think of that as well. So yes, to your question.
For whom much is given, much is expected.
Yes.
You mean?
Yes.
So we should give government more taxes for government to also...
Precisely.
Okay.
Precisely. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, Yes, GRA, we do receive a number of tax returns filed by our taxpayers. If there are statistical inaccuracies, we draw their attention to.
Okay.
And I can say on authority that, yes, with the kind of tax education that we have given to the public, and the fact that we have brought the process close to their doorsteps by getting our systems automated, it's been quite easier for people to file their returns. And I think that they are doing well, except that we still have some more room for improvement. And as we engage, we continue to get more people in the tax net. So yes, they are filing, but we still have to encourage some more people to get on board.
All right, I think it's encouraging to know that, I mean, people are paying their taxes. I know recently the board of the Ghana Revenue Authority issued a statement to commend management for achieving the mid-year target. Is this the case, and is it an indication that people are now responding to paying taxes?
Yes, I would say people are now responding better than before. And again, the management of the Ghana Revenue Authority, I would say, have revised our processes and our systems. I mean, you are aware that unlike those days, you had to drive from your home to locate a tax office, probably join a queue and go through some amount of stress before you execute this constitutional duty.
Yeah.
Today, it's not like that. You can pay taxes in the comfort of your bedroom. You can approach GRA online. So I'm sure that these are these are some of the processes that have made it quite easier for the taxpayers to fall in love with the tax system and be paying more taxes as well. Yes.
So how can individuals, I mean, also ensure that they are meeting these responsibilities as you did indicate per the Constitution, also the GRA Act?
Yes. Individuals are just one set of the tax-paying public.
Very well.
We have the corporate institutions, trust, and body corporate and others. Now, for the individuals, the system is such that they pay what you call personal income taxes. Personal income taxes.
Okay.
The sources upon which the taxes are imposed are three. We have the employment source of income, we have business, and then we have investment. You see that, you realize that the individual may cut across all the three.
Okay.
So an individual who is an employee has to pay what we call pay as you earn taxes. An individual who has a business, a side business, has to disclose the income from that business. If that individual has income coming from an investment, that income too has to be disclosed. So you are required to file your return. You are required to make honest disclosures in the return. And then the GRA will review the return and agree with you. As I said, if the individual has to pay some taxes together upon a determination of the numbers in the return, the individual has to go ahead and pay on due date.
Okay.
And then if the individual has any challenge in terms of the administration of the taxes, the individual has every right to engage the GRA, to engage the GRA in terms of that challenge so that we can help them resolve that challenge. Let me also be quick to say that the individual is clothed with a lot of rights.
Okay.
A lot of rights. First of all, we have what we call right to confidential and private information, or privacy and confidentiality. So if the individual gave their information to the GRA is not required to publish it, I mean, to anybody.
Yeah.
Unless, even the Commissioner General, before the Commissioner General gives out such information, unless it is done within the confines of the law.
Okay.
And Section 7 of the Revenue Administrations Act is clear on that. that we cannot just put out private information in the public. And information on our taxpayers are official information that are held in secret. So they should be rest assured. Individuals, they have right to representation. So if an individual feels that he doesn't understand the processes, or he's not comfortable with them, or he wants to be represented, yes, it's within their right to get, let's say, practicing tax practitioners to represent them, and it's allowed. They have right to pay fair taxes. So the GRA cannot assess you more than ordinarily you're supposed to pay.
Okay.
And it's vice versa. We can't do more, we can't do less. So that right is available to the individual. And again, there is this right to a professional, a courteous and professional service. So the GRA cannot be dealing with the taxpayer in an unprofessional manner.
Okay.
We cannot do that. So it is a right that is available to the individual as well. And the bottom line is that where that line is crossed, the individual has the right to report that officer to a superior officer in the GRA. And if the superior officer doesn't take an action, that individual, affected individual, can also move as far as to the office of the commissioner, DTRD, or any of the commissioners. So all these rights are available to the individual. And they are aimed at making the tax regime quite friendly to the individual.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me just remind viewers that tonight we are discussing tax obligations and tax reliefs. So we are dealing more with the tax obligations now, and it will be coming to the tax reliefs as well. I'm sure most people are interested to know the reliefs that they can apply for, and then how much those reliefs are, and all that. So we'll be coming to touch on the reliefs that businesses and also individuals are entitled to. So let me come back to you, sir, and then find out from you. You've spoken about how these taxes are used for national development and all that. Can you also explain? I mean, how does one register with the Ghana Revenue Authority in the first place, and what's the process? I mean, for one to also file his or her tax returns.
Okay, so first of all, the registration process is very, very simple. You register your details. That is, you register for a tax identification number. So the forms are friendly, they are online, and even where you have a difficulty in appreciating the demands of the form, our offices are opened and you can visit any office for assistance. And again, in the registration, you need to indicate the type of taxes that are applicable to you. So if the nature of your business is such that you need to pay VAT, that is value-added tax, it means that you have to register that tax handle as well as part of your taxes.
Okay.
So the registration process is simple, and it's online. At our website, the forms are there.
Okay.
And as I've said, if you happen to have any challenge in terms of the registration process, you need to. If it's a limited liability company, if it's a company, then you must have registered or incorporated with the registrar of companies. If it's a sole proprietorship, you must have registered as such. Or if it's a partnership or a trust. So depending on the angle from which you come, there are forms that are available for you to complete and then file, and then the GRA will take up the process and issue you with your tax identification number, and then we start business. I mean, it doesn't automatically mean that as soon as you register, immediately GRA will just put a liability on you. No, we'll discuss. It's on a case-by-case basis.
Okay. So there have been calls okay, for the Ghana Revenue Authority to broaden the tax net, I'd want to find out from you, is this something that the GRA is pursuing, and also have there been any successes in that regard?
Yes. I mean, every serious country is serious about its source of revenue. And one such source is the tax, as we are discussing. Yes, we have, I mean, with the new management, we have put in place a lot of strategies and plans to widen the tax net.
Okay.
And that is why these days you see that there's more talk from GRA on the various platforms than ever before. The idea is to, first of all, bring the good news to the people. And it's a way to get voluntary compliance from them. That notwithstanding, we have simplified our systems and made them automated so that even if you don't have the time to come to our office to engage with us, you could still do so in the comfort of your home. It could be in the night, it could be in the morning, it could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be between 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And I sit here to encourage everybody, the professionals, doctors, lawyers, I mean, everybody who knows that he has to pay tax knows that I have to pay tax. Except that sometimes we want to procrastinate, I'll do it later. But I believe that the time is now. Because it is better, and it's within our laws, for you to make voluntary disclosures than for GRA to find you.
Yes.
I think that would be more expensive. And it will not excite us to find you and apply the rigid laws. You know, so
in fact, that was actually going to be my next question as to whether there are potential consequences for failure to file your tax returns on time. Yes.
Yes, there are. You know, filing of tax return is a statutory duty.
Yes.
And a duty of such nature that doesn't come with punitive consequences. I'm sure might be downtrodden. I mean, nobody wants to respect that.
Yeah.
Yes. So for failure to file a return, you know, returns are supposed to be filed on a that is by the end of the fourth month after the end of your accounting year or your basis period.
Okay.
Now, if you fail to file and you don't seek that special dispensation from the commissioner regarding extension of time to file your return, then what it means is that you have not complied with the statutory provision.
Okay.
And if it's for the individual, I mean, corporate income tax and the personal income tax, the failure, you have to pay what do you call some money. It's supposed to be 500 cedis, and then for any additional day in default, you pay 10 cedis as well.
Okay, so let me get you. Let's get this right.
Yes.
So you mean if you fail to file your tax
For the first day
of the failure, that is 500 cedis.
Yes.
And the subsequent days, you're going to pay how much?
10 cedis.
10 cedis each day.
That the failure continues.
Okay, but is this punitive enough?
You see, the idea is not to punish our taxpayers. It's to encourage them. And the longer it is, the more valuable it becomes. And this is just for the returns that you have not filed.
Okay.
But the taxes that would have been paid on that return would also come with its own punitive regime.
Okay.
And that is where I think the the weight of the
punishment
sanction.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And again, if it is for what you call communication service tax, then you pay 2,000 for the failure, and for each day in default, you pay 500 Ghana cedis. So yes, there are penalty implications for the failure to comply with that provision.
Talking about expanding the tax net, there is this. I mean, last week we were having some discussions, and it centered on these artisans. I mean, who come to work for us. We call them to come to work, and they are able to. I mean, we pay them, and they don't pay any taxes to government. And then we ask ourselves, I mean, how does GRA get its share of this particular payment? That is because they are earning, I mean, revenue as a result of the work that they've done. So, I mean, how does the Ghana Revenue Authority incorporate such people into the tax net?
Okay, so the matter is, for me, is simple. You know, we have what we call a withholding tax regime.
Okay.
What it means is that if you are a company, if you are a corporate institution,
okay,
and then you engage an artisan to either execute some works for you,
okay,
or render a service to you,
okay,
by the provisions under Section 116 of the Income Tax Act 896, the corporate institution automatically becomes a withholding agent. So if the value of the service that has been rendered to you is more than 2,000 cedis today,
okay,
you are required to withhold on that service the amount, the gross amount paid for that service rendered to you.
Okay.
And if it is a service, you have to withhold at a rate of 7.5%. If it is works, you have to withhold at a rate of 5%.
Okay.
And if there are goods that are supplied, then you do so at 3%. Okay. So what it means is that if you fail to withhold, if the transaction actually qualifies to
be taxed,
yes, to be, I mean, the payment qualifies to be withheld.
Okay.
And then you fail to withhold, or you do not withhold, you pay the full amount to the supplier or the service provider or the artisan. Then it means that you have not complied with a provision in the law.
Okay.
Again, if the artisan does not qualify, for instance, if it's one-off type and the amount we are talking of is about 1,000 or 500, then it's not up to 2,000. But if the artisan the arrangement is such that the artisan will be supplying or be doing other supplies in the course of the year, you know, value of which when put together or when aggregated will give you the 2,000 or will cross the 2,000 cap, then that payment has to be subjected to withholding tax. So the responsibility is on the corporate institutions to do that. An individual, except in certain instances, individuals are not automatic withholding agents.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So meaning the artisan who works for me, I mean, if I want him to pay tax, I mean, and looking at the amount I give him or the work, the scope of work that is going to do within the year, I have to come to the GRA to draw your attention or what?
No, so what happens is that, you know,
because you spoke about the corporate.
Yes.
So what about the individual?
So the individual base, you are not required by law to withhold.
Okay.
You are not required by law to withhold, unless it is in the line of your business. So you are an individual. You are running a supermarket. You are running a pharmacy. You are running a filling station. You are running a business, and you are using the business to engage that artisan. Then it's a different matter. But individuals, as we sit here, if we engage an artisan who provides a service for us, the law doesn't automatically make the persons paying, we are not made withholding agents. So we don't...
Yeah, but not us withholding, but then how does the artisan pay the tax on the earnings that is gained?
Yeah,
that is Well, that is what
yes.
I want to understand.
So we have a system. If it is said that they belong to the artisan, I don't know which specifically you're talking about, but if they belong to the association,
okay,
then they are a group that are issued with tax stamp. You know, we give them tax stamp, which is given to them as and they pay for that the stamp as part of their taxes paid. You know, so we have a special arrangement for those small ones, so that they are also brought into the tax net. But this is different from artisan like an electrician, a painter, those who have established their own shops and they are doing very, very well.
Okay.
I mean, they have to register. They are also required to register with the GRA, as we have discussed, and then file returns and make honest disclosures to the GRA.
Okay. So what measures have you put in place? I mean, the Ghana Revenue Authority, what measures have you put in place to ensure transparency and also, I mean, prevent tax-related scams?
Okay. So first of all, we have ensured that our staff that engage, the frontline staff that engage with the taxpayers, have been well trained, and we know the quality of staff that we are putting out there. And secondly, when they come, they are supposed to disclose their identity. So you need to verify their ID cards and ensure that these people are actually from the Ghana Revenue Authority. And again, when it comes to payment, one historic step that the GRA has taken is the cashless arrangement that we have put in place.
Okay.
So today, I cannot come to you and ask you to give me the tax in my hand, fiscal cash, and I give you receipt.
Yeah.
It's a thing of the past now. Now, you pay online in the comfort of your home or anywhere at any time, and through the banking system or mobile money, or so you don't have that risk of human
exchange,
interface, yes. So that somebody could be corrupted or somebody could be tempted. So these are the processes that we have put in place to sanitize the system and to give assurance to the taxpaying public that their monies are actually ending up in the consolidated fund for the state to work with it.
Okay, so we'll be coming to the relief side in a bit, but then let me also find out from you the payment methods. I mean, you spoke about the cashless system and all that. What different type of payment methods are available to whoever is paying taxes?
Okay, so first of all, you can do a bank transfer. That is bank-to-bank transfer. You visit the nearest bank to make a direct transfer into the GRA account. Secondly, you can do mobile money.
Okay.
By using
GRA accepts mobile money?
Yes, by using the USSD code. You dial the *222# and then you follow the prompt, and then you can pay. And then again, if you want to use your debit card or your credit card, internet banking, make transfers with all those cards. The bank, using the bank apps, they are all available. So the whole cashless arrangement is supported by these means of payment. So these means are available to the taxpayers. Yes.
Okay, so let's go for a break and come back and then come and discuss the reliefs. Hello, so you're still watching Iron Pot. Tonight we are discussing tax obligations and tax reliefs. We are taking some insights from the Ghana Revenue Authority, and my guest tonight has been Eric Anthony. He is the Chief Revenue Officer at the Large Taxpayer Office in Accra, and we've been discussing some obligations. I mean, what's expected of us as citizens in the form of
us paying our taxes, honoring our tax obligations to the state. In the meantime, we are going for some messages from our sponsors. We'll be back to discuss the tax reliefs aspect bit of tonight's discussion. We'll be right back after the break.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Gold Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so you're welcome back from the break. Tonight we are still discussing tax obligations and tax reliefs, insights from the Ghana Revenue Authority, and my guest in the studio is Eric Anthony. He is the Chief Revenue Officer at the Large Taxpayer Office in Accra. Mr. Eric, so there are some messages here. Let me go on. Let me read them, and then I'll activate the phone lines as well.
This one says, good evening, I on port. I would like to find which entities fall into the category of dealing with a large tax office, that's LTO. And then the bit I find rather absurd about registering with GRA for a business entities is making you pay the income tax based on a projected profit for a business whose activities is yet to see the light of day. This has to be scrapped because it normally presents a big barrier. A small administrative fees can rather suffice, just like the Office of Registrar of Companies. And this is coming from our regular texter, Oyema from Tema. And then before you answer that, let me activate the phone lines. So the phone lines have been activated. The numbers to call, 0205 528 353. The numbers again, 020 552 8353. You can call and join the discussion. All right, so maybe you would answer that, then we come to the reliefs.
Yes, okay. For large taxpayers, yes, they are defined. We have gone through the list of taxpayers that we have in the country.
Okay.
And we've selected the largest ones based on their what do you call, their revenue or their income.
Okay.
And we have put them together as clients of the LTO, gazetted them and put them together as clients of the LTO. So it is based on their revenue.
Okay.
Yes. So,
okay. Okay.
And then the specialized activities that they engage in. For instance, when we say petroleum or the banking, so it depends on the industry in which they are as well. Okay. Yes. So that is for large taxpayers, and we have only one in the country. So it doesn't really matter where that company is located. Insofar as that company falls within the definition of large taxpayers, as determined by the Commissioner General, yes, you need to have your tax engagement with the large taxpayers office. Yes.
Okay, so now, we'll be coming to those concerns. So
yes.
Let's go to the phone lines and welcome Erica from Tema. Hello, Erica. Good evening and thank you for calling.
Okay, good evening. Please, I heard the presenter saying that yeah, hello.
Yes, Erica, I can hear you.
Yeah. So please, I heard the presenter saying something about the withholding tax, that if it's more than 2,000, you can withhold. That's if it's services, 7.5%. So I was asking, what if probably you have a client that normally deducts withholding from you that's above 2,000, but there's a particular month that you deduct, maybe you bill the person for less than 2,000, maybe 1,500, and the person still withholds. Is it right? I just want him to clarify that for me.
If there's a transaction value of which is about 1,500, can the withholding agent still go ahead and withhold? Is that a question? Okay, I'll presume that is a question.
Yes, I understand she's off, so you can proceed.
Yeah. So what it means is that there is a threshold of 2,000 Ghana cedis as the minimum that the withholding agent can or cannot withhold on. So if it is more than 2,000 cedis, the withholding agent is enjoined to withhold on the gross amount. Now, the distinction I made there was, if the same supplier has made some supplies within the year of the same nature in bits which are not up to, individually not up to 2,000, then the law requires the withholding agent to amalgamate all those bits. And if putting them together, the value will be more than 2,000 cedis, it means that the threshold has been met, and in respect of that supplier, the withholding agent has to withhold the tax. Now, the 7 7.5% I mentioned is specifically for services. So if the provider provided service, then the rate for withholding on services is 7.5%.
Okay.
If it is works, then it's 5%. If it is goods, then it is 3%.
Okay.
So, Erica, the 2,000 is a threshold.
Okay.
If it's just one transaction within the 12-month period, the year, and it's less than 2,000, you cannot withhold.
Okay.
Even if the withholding agent is a limited liability company.
Okay.
But if there are other transactions of different or varying values, which when put together, you will still cross the 2,000, then it becomes a withholdable transaction.
Right. That's fine. Let's go back on the phone lines and welcome Farahan from Tamale. Hello, Farahan. Good evening and thank you for calling.
Good evening. Please, I just joined your discussion, and I have a question.
Okay.
To ask, about I'm a carpenter, so I registered for a business certificate, which is enterprise, and I want to ask, how do I pay my taxes on that?
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Farahan. My guest would answer you in a bit. And I think, isn't it, intriguing and also a positive thing to have people calling wanting to know that they are eager to pay their taxes? I think it's a good thing.
Precisely. I agree with you. And Farah, I just want to thank you for the information that you have given us, that you have gone to register. That is a statutory requirement, and it is indeed very, very, very good that you have done that. Now, you have crossed the first step, so now your details are in the GRA system, or they are on the GRA system. So in the registration, I'm sure you would have registered a tax type, whether personal income tax or value-added tax. It depends on which ones are applicable. So the type of tax handles that you have registered with us, they are those that you would have to respond to or pay taxes, pay on. Now, if you have any challenge as to where you want to start from, I would advise that you engage our officers in Tamale. We have officers in Tamale. Just engage them to take off from there. But I'm sure that the registration process would involve you registering the tax handlers that are applicable to you. And from that point, filing of returns and payment of taxes and all the other obligations will follow. If you still have a challenge, please advise that you engage our officers there, and they will be ready to help you.
All right. That's fine. And let's go back on the phone lines and welcome Jamara from Sapeman. Hello, Jamara. Good evening, and thank you for calling.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead with the submission.
Good. Can I go on?
Yeah, Jamara, I can hear you. Please proceed.
Good. Now, our host, fine, boss, good. You when you ask him, how can we zone in millions of people who are outside the tax net? See, for me as a civil servant, I paid my taxes for 35 years since I started working. At the end of my working life, I was paying millions of cedis, over 500 cedis as tax. As he said, that is simple. But we are talking about the millions of people in the informal sector who we claim is the engine of economic development. That's what everybody says. That the informal sector, engine of economic development. That's where the private sector is located, in the informal sector. Millions.
Okay. Jamara.
That is where I heard you asking our boss that question, but you see the answer, he said, you see, the international financial institutions we go to borrow money from always tell us that It is because of our inability to zone in, net indeed millions of people. I'm talking about millions of people. If each person is able to be zoned in and pay 10 cities, 20 cities, 50 cities, 100 cities, millions.
Yes.
One city times one city.
Tema, thank you for calling. Your point is well noted. I mean, you are emphasizing the need for the tax net to be expanded and all that. I think that is what he's saying, and he wants the GRA to expand the tax net more and bring in more people into the tax net.
Yeah, I agree with Jamra, and thanks for the outpour of your sentiment.
Yeah,
I mean, you couldn't have put it better than
Yeah.
The point is that tax is a shared responsibility. It's a shared responsibility to the extent that if GRA doesn't come to you, you need to go to GRA. If you understand the discussions that we have had so far, and I've said that the person who wants to avoid tax is the person who doesn't like electricity, who doesn't like good water, who doesn't like good roads, who doesn't like good hospitals and good schools. This is where we raise money to provide these amenities.
Yeah.
So if you are paying, you are in Sapema, you are paying, and there are people around you, and you are of the view, you have a strong opinion that they are not paying, there is nothing wrong with approaching them. At least just have an engagement with them.
Or even reporting them to the GRA, perhaps.
That would be ideal, because we are not going to expose you. No, GRA will not expose you, but we'll take it up and verify whether the information you have given us is credible.
Very well.
And at the end of the day, you would have helped that person, because that person, when is brought into the tax net, has now, and starts paying tax or doing the right things, now becomes a compliant or a law-abiding citizen. Unlike this, most cases, you will see that our people are aware that this man is not paying.
But
this woman is not paying.
They say they don't do anything about it.
I don't care.
Okay.
We cannot, develop our country with that attitude.
Very well.
So
Very well.
it's important that we all put our hands on
the wheel. That's well noted. Let's go on the phone lines again and welcome Ken from Tema. Hello, Ken. Good evening and thank you for calling. Ben from Tema, I understand. Ben. All right. So, Ben, good evening, and then we are listening to you, Ben.
Okay, please, I want to the threshold for...
Ben, you need to reposition yourself. We can hardly hear you.
Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better.
Okay. I want to know the threshold for those people who are supposed to pay VAT standard and then the flat rate.
Yeah. The threshold for those who are supposed to pay what?
The VAT standard.
Okay.
Yeah, and those who are supposed to, pay the flat rate.
Okay, that's fine.
And the two, our boss was talking about the withholding tax, deduction, and he mentioned 5% withholding tax. With the 5%, if let's say there's an invoice where they stated maybe there's a goods on the invoice, the purchase, and there's a service on the invoice as let's say labor, and the goods is associated with a figure, an amount, and the labor is associated with an amount. Are you supposed to use the 5%? The 5% as works, or you're supposed to deduct the 3% on the goods alone and the 7.5 on the service alone, which is the labor.
All right. Thank you very much, Ben, for calling. Our guest in the studio will do justice to your question.
Okay, so Ben from Tema, you would like to know the threshold for the flat rate. Yes, so VAT, value-added tax, the Amendment Act 1027 provided that the taxpayers or those who engage in taxable supplies or those who do taxable activities, taxable persons who engage in taxable activities, whose annual income, that is your revenue for the 12-month period, is not less than 200,000 Ghana cedis and not more than 500,000 Ghana cedis. So a retailer whose annual or income for the revenue for the 12-month period is between 200,000 cedis and 500,000 cedis, they should account for VAT on a flat rate of 3%. And then, of course, the levy, the 1% levy. Yes. So these are the threshold. And anybody above that would then suffer the, no, I won't use the word suffer, would then be taxed at the rate of the standard rate. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's go on the phone lines again and welcome Catherine from Tema.
Yes, please. My question is, if I render a service with the amount of 1,500 for, let's say, the month of July, does the withholder have the right to withhold from that?
Okay.
Okay, so if it is one-off, Catherine, if it is one-off transaction, that there is no likelihood that that person would render another service to you in the course of the year, the 12-month period, then so be it. You cannot withhold 1,500. You are not up to the threshold. But if the same person does further supplies in the course of the year, you know, value of which, when added to the 1,500, will be more than 2,000, then you would have to withhold subsequently.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I think we had some outstanding messages from your end. So let's add this one to it. Ohima, the first message that I read to you, she was asking why you need to pay for a projected amount and all that. So I think, so we have that, and then there is one also here. This one says, I want to find out if one can review one's returns if one cannot realize the projected income after operating a whole year or two. This is from Yel Song Yao from Wa. So if you could box those two questions.
So I think that we can put the two together and then we go.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, in Ghana, we have an upfront tax payment regime. When we say upfront, it means that at the beginning of the year, we begin to think of how much taxes will be paid in the course of the year. Now, the rationale is to make money available for the state machinery to run. Because if we are to wait till the end of the year, let's even assume that everybody's financial year is that of the calendar year, which means that we are talking of January to December. Yeah. That's an assumption. Now, from the question, it will imply that then the state would have to wait till after December, when their business year or their financial year has ended. They have prepared their financial statements, they know the profits or the losses that they have made before we can talk of tax. So then what happens? It means that the state revenue would not be available.
Yeah.
And by the time it is paid, probably the value would even have gone down. So let me be quick to say that tax is a creature of statutes. We have fabricated our laws in such a way that our taxes are paid upfront. And by virtue of that, if you happen to overpay, there is an opportunity for you to claim a refund. And the refund is available. And I know my Commissioner General is ready to pay refunds. If it's been confirmed as a genuine refund, no, it's going to be paid. So now back to the issue. The law provides that anybody who pays tax by installment should do what we call self-assessment.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the year, you file what you call self-assessment return. In that self-assessment return, it is you, the taxpayer,
who decides.
You decide how much your tax is likely to be at the end of the year. And then you file that return with the Commissioner General. So stating that at the end of the year 2024, I believe that from the way I see things, I believe that I'll be paying a tax of, let's say, 100,000 cedis. So then you break it down into 4 quarters, and then you pay quarterly.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing about this arrangement is that any point in time before the end of the year, the assumption is that the year will end on the 31st of December.
Very well.
So any point in time, after you have filed the first return, you can revise it.
Okay.
As many as you wish to.
Okay.
And but once the last one is filed on the 31st of December, the door is shut. It's closed.
Okay.
So you cannot revise it any longer.
Okay.
But there's a regime that comes with it that estimate should at least form about 90% of the actual at the end of the day.
Okay.
Which means that it's an attempt to get you to file not just any numbers, but something about actual.
Very well.
Right.
Very well.
Yes.
Very well. Okay. So let's go back on the phone lines and welcome Enoch from Kumasi. Hello, Enoch. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you for calling.
You're welcome.
Yes, we are listening to you, Enoch.
So, my question is, I have a startup company.
Okay.
I was given an assessment, let's say in the year 2020. I was given an assessment. And my withholding tax was able to pay all the assessment given to me with some balance left. Now, the following year in 2021, I was given an assessment expecting that the balance from last year, the previous year, could offset the current year's one. I went to GRA, they said, no, that cannot be done. So I have to
your line is going so faint. So if you could reposition yourself and then kindly restate your question again.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that startup company, I was given an assessment.
Okay.
And the assessment, my withholding tax was able to the assessment with some balance left.
Okay.
The following year, I was also given an assessment expecting that the previous year's withholding tax could offset the current one.
Okay.
I went GRA, they said, no, that cannot be done unless they come and do some fiscal studies or something.
Okay.
Now, I got on that contract where my assessment, the withholding tax can pay the previous year's own and even the upcoming year. I have to find out, is it possible for the withholding tax to pay my assessment given to me last year if this current year, what I have is more than what I'm owing GRA?
Okay. Okay. All right. Enoch, your point is well noted. Thank you very much. Mr. Anthony here will do justice to your question.
So, Enoch, I think you have a very interesting concern. Interesting because, let me start off with the Section 1 of the Income Tax Act. It says that income tax is payable for each year of assessment by anybody who has a chargeable income.
Okay.
That is A. And the B says anybody who has a final withholding payment. And that is the charging provision of the Income Tax Act. So you realize that in the rendition, it seems to create a ring fence. So for each year of assessment, it means that in the regime, each year's tax matter is handled on the basis of that year. So the point where you can say that you want to move to the next year is where the Commissioner General has, and that is what he was trying to say, that it's a fiscal verification. The Commissioner General under Section 36 of the Revenue Administration Act may have conducted an audit to confirm the figures. Remember, in our discussions, we have said that we operate an upfront tax payment regime.
Very well.
So it's like an estimate. We work with an estimate up to a point, and it has to be confirmed. Let's remind ourselves that this is state revenue, and we are under obligation to make sure that we handle it as if we are handling our own revenue.
Very well.
Right. Now, the point I want to make here is that if the withholding tax credit certificate that is given you, if you look at it carefully, you see that there's a year of assessment written on it. apart from the date on which it was issued,
yeah,
you see year of assessment clearly indicated. He didn't use the year 2020. So you will find that the year of assessment is 2020, which means that you by the content of that withholding tax certificate, you are saying that it can only be used to offset your 2020 tax liability.
Yeah.
If you want to use it to offset 2021,
yeah,
it means that the Commissioner General would have conducted a verification and audit to confirm that indeed your 2020 is fully paid, and this excess you can ask for a refund, or you can ask for it to be applied
for the next year's.
Yes. So until that is done, it's a bit difficult. And you see, we have come across a situation where the taxpayer has been audited. The taxpayer didn't show the withholding certificate. In fact, he kept the withholding certificate. And when the liability came out, he pulled it out as a surprise that I have this hanging. Forgetting that the withholding is a percentage of your revenue that you have received.
Very well.
So if the GRA grosses it up, it will give the GRA a fair idea of how much you have received. So there are a lot of mathematical, complications in there.
Okay. We barely have 4 minutes to go. So let's look at the reliefs. So what reliefs, are available for all taxpayers?
Okay, so since we don't have time, let me look at the individuals first. Before we come to the individuals, we have what we call the marriage or responsibility relief. And it's for an individual who has a dependent spouse or two dependent children on you, the individual. So if you are paying tax, let's say me as I sit here, if I have a dependent spouse, or you, if your wife is dependent on you, or you have two children, even if you are not married, and you have two children depending on you, you have that relief available to you, and that is 200 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Good.
And monthly?
No.
Annually?
Annual.
Okay.
That is big, And then we have disability relief.
Okay.
The disability is for our brothers and sisters who are physically challenged.
Yeah.
You for your employment income or your business income, you have a relief of 25% of your assessable income.
Okay, that's for those who are physically challenged.
Yeah, for the physically challenged.
Okay.
Not emotionally injured, physically challenged. So you have 25% of your accessible income waived off, and the tax will be on the rest. And let me be quick to say that it doesn't affect your investment income. Because investment income, you are not expected to have used your physique in acquiring that income or earning that income. So it only relates to the employment and business. And the other is old age. Old age, if you are 60 years and above and you are still working, the disability, I said 25%. The old age is also 200 Ghana cedis. What it means is that if you are 60 years and above and you are still earning income, that relief is available to you if you apply for it from the GRA. And then we have the child education. Child education is actually for the children or wards. So it might not necessarily be your biological child per se, but once you stand in a local parentage relationship, yes. Those in the recognized registered educational institutions in Ghana. So if your children are in school in South Africa, they will not. The institution should be recognized and established in Ghana, and you have up to 3 of them. Each would have 200 Ghana cedis in respect of each of them. So the 3 of them. The other is what we call the aged dependent relief. So if you have your parents or people who are dependent on you, whose ages are more than 60 years, then 2 of them would qualify for this. You'll be given 100 Ghana cedis per each of them. But they must actually be dependent on you. It means that they take the necessaries of life, food, shelter, clothing from you. So that is also available to them. And then we have cost of training relief. Cost of training is for those who have attended some training to update their skills, you know, their technical skills, vocational skills. So it is either the cost incurred or 400 Ghana cedis, whichever is lower.
Okay.
Yes. So these are reliefs that are available to the individual. And the individual, by Section 51 of the Income Tax Act, can take advantage of it. You register, and then it is approved, and then you take it. Once you start, you can take it upfront throughout.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. I think due to time, we couldn't touch on the corporate one, yes. But we'll find time and then have another discussion on this particular subject. Thank you very much for coming. So this is where we draw the curtain on tonight's episode of Iron Port. My guest in the studio has been Mr. Eric Anthony. He is the Chief Revenue Officer at the Large Taxpayer Office in Accra. We've been discussing tax obligations and tax reliefs, and we've had some insights from the Ghana Revenue Authority, and I must say it's also interesting to know that Ghanaians are willing to come forward and pay their taxes, honor their tax obligations for the development of the country. My name is Solomon Anderson. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs.